Good evening everybody, Calm Biker here. Oh, I'm cold. I went out at lunchtime and it absolutely heaved it down with rain, and I think it's about to start raining again. But it heaved it down at lunchtime. That was, I don't know, 7 hours ago. And the clothes have been in the airing cupboard, not dried out yet, but I thought, what the heck, I'm probably going to get wet again. Might as well go out for a spin. Put it in half nippy when you're wet. Well, that's kind of linked to my little topic, my micro topic for the evening, which is about how we keep warm, and in particular fracking. Now, I've not done a great deal of research into fracking, so I'm not going to say a lot about it, which might make you wonder why am I bothering with it as a topic. Time will tell. I mean, the little bits of research I have done are slightly worrying, in that they obviously want to start fracking here, and as predicted, now that you've got this stuff going on with Russia and Ukraine, the British government have used that as an opportunity to tell us how fracking will extract us from the problems of getting our gas supply from Russia, even though we don't actually get that much of our gas supply from Russia. But it's handy, isn't it? Again, I suspect money is changing hands. And but anyway, they say the government keeps telling us fracking's completely safe, and then you see these videos on YouTube from America where there are people who are now, because of the methane and other gases that have been released into the water supply, are now able to set fire to the tap water. And then you hear of the stuff from the northwest in this country where they were doing fracking before. God, this road repair is so bumpy. Yeah, where they were doing fracking before and they had earthquakes. And then there's some stuff I've been reading. I think it was British Geological Society, which is strange because the government, whatever the source was, the government were quoting them saying that these people prove that fracking is completely safe. And yet that website for that organisation was saying that fracking can cause minor earthquakes, but more importantly, it can, because it fractures the substrate, because it can damage the earth essentially. Cows crossing the road here, so keep an eye on those. Yeah, because it can damage the earth under the surface, it can actually lead to small earthquakes becoming big ones. Horny cows. Assuming they were bulls, I didn't look. So yeah, so they've seen that in Central America apparently, in the southern states of America, where they've been fracking, and then what were normal earthquakes that would have been minor have actually ended up being quite major, and there have been deaths and lots of damage to property and what have you. So it's a bit of a worry, because in America you can kind of see the argument for fracking. I mean, you can see the argument. Everybody wants more and more fuel. The government keeps telling us our fuel will be cheaper, like it is in America. But then again, there's been a few ministers on TV saying, well, no, it won't make it cheaper. It will just improve our energy security. So I don't expect to get cheaper energy anytime soon if they do start doing this. And then they say they'll give money to the local area if they do fracking somewhere, but actually what they mean is they'll give money to the local council, and that's kind of giving with one hand and taking away with the other, isn't it, with the cuts that they're doing to local councils anyway. Anyway, going back to my point about America, you can kind of see the argument in America where you've got massive swathes of country where nobody lives. So the blight on the landscape, the localised problems are not such a big deal. But in Britain, although we've only got, it's a tiny amount we've actually built on in Britain. It's well less than 10% of Britain is actually built on. But where it is, it's quite densely packed. And where it's not built on, you'll find there are places very nearby that are. So I'm going to show you one of them. And this is the point of this. This is why, even though I haven't done a lot of research into fracking, I'm still going to do this vlog on it. Idiot. Which is just down here. There's a road just down here. I think it's called Crawberry Hill, and it runs along the back of Walkington, which is a village just along from Beverley. And there is a site there where for a long time they've been talking about fracking, and it's hit the news today because the protesters have arrived to protest. Now the company that's drilling there say they're just drilling for oil and gas normally and not fracking. The protesters say, but you're using all of the materials of fracking. And the planners say they don't have permission to frack, but they do have permission to drill in various ways that may well be used as a precursor to fracking, should they decide that they want to frack later on. But all that aside, I thought it might be quite interesting to come and see the protesters. Because I err on the side of caution, I might even give them a thumbs up as I go past. I mean, if they can prove to us that fracking is safe and they can do it without blighting the landscape and all that kind of stuff, then maybe I'll be slightly more for it. At the minute, I think it's unproven, and potentially the risks are too high. So, but you might be able to dissuade me of that point of view in the comments. We're just left Walkington. The site is no more than a mile away, I don't think, and there's a policeman ahead of me, so this is the reason I came today. It's been on the news today. It may well be that by tomorrow they've been moved on, so I thought I'll get a picture of them now. Anyway, let's have a look. So yeah, this was you can't see anything at the minute, but you could see before this kind of tower coming out over there, and all this drilling machinery and big tanks and pipes, and very Gotham City. And this, I guess, is where they're setting up the camp. Don't know what that bit's all about. Oh no! Let me just find neutral. Evening. Evening. You alright, yeah? I'm very pro, as in pro your position, not.
You'd be surprised, there was a gentleman earlier with his anti-wind turbines who was kind of pro, I think he was pro fracking, and we did point out, he thought we've got balls and brass. Want a hot drink or anything, mate?
Well, I'm quite surprised, I have to admit it. What a lovely bunch of people. I've actually been talking to them for about an hour, so the sky has probably darkened from the first part of this video. Had a chat with them about fracking and house building, which is something that round here we've been protesting against recently, with them building in the floodplains. And then I had a chat with somebody about the NHS IT systems. You expect from the news coverage that these are a bunch of swampy type people who are professional protesters, but they're the people with jobs, with mortgages, professional people. I had quite a long chat with an IT project manager, and a lovely bunch of people. First thing as I pulled up, I was wondering whether I would get grief for being on a motorbike. You never know if they're total hippies, they're anti-petrol as well. But first thing as I pulled up, do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a cup of coffee? They had a look around the bike. They all liked the bike. There was a couple of bikers in there. There's a guy who's just been on the back of somebody else's bike and now he's a convert and he's decided he wants to get a bike himself once he's finished his protest here. They were telling me that they've all been, well, not all of them, but quite a few of them have been protesting over at a place called Barton Moss, which I didn't know a lot about, but I'm now going to look it up on the internet. And apparently over there they were getting a lot of problems with the police, where the police have been told to move them on and they've been doing it violently. So that was quite interesting, so I'll be looking up a few videos there. But a nicer set of people you could not want to meet. They've said anytime I want to go past for a cup of tea, feel free, and invite anybody else along and they'll have a chat, and they don't mind talking to people who are pro fracking either, as long as they're not going over there to hit them with truncheons, but obviously that's a particular set of people. But yeah, lovely set of people, so I'll pop back and have a chat with them again at some point. They're quite interested by the camera on my head. I said I would put a picture of them out on YouTube. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that. I'm now very wet, but not as wet as they're going to be in their tents. Or not in their tents, they're all stood around at the minute, having a beer and a glass of wine. So anyway, thank you all for watching, ride safe, and I'll talk to you all again soon.